Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode with Data with K. Now, is another video, and here we'll be talking about data cleaning. Now, data cleaning is one very important topic when it comes to data analysis. It's one of the most important steps when it comes to data analysis, and it's something that cannot be skipped, because if you skip the data cleaning process, you are going to have serious problems during your analysis. Now, the thing is, the data cleaning process is never a straight road. Sometimes, even after you have cleaned your data and gone into analysis, you may still notice something that has gone wrong in your data, right, or in your cleaning. So you have to go back, right? So it's never really a straightforward process. It's something that you have to do, you know and sometimes when you go into your analysis, you still have to come back and redo it again. Now, there are certain things that you should always know before you start your data cleaning process, right? And we're going to be looking at those things here. So if you're new to this channel, I just want to encourage you to subscribe and stay tuned. I drop videos at least once every week. Okay, so let's get into it. Thank you for staying so far. Now, data cleaning is the process of removing unwanted or unstructured uh, items from our data. So we just it's just a process of trying to clean up your data and make it easier to work with. Okay. Now, what I have here is a I have a couple of Excel spreadsheets: data 1, dirty data 1, dirty data 2, dirty data 3, dirty data 4, and dirty data 5. Each of them contains the data that will be cleaned, and we are going to look into it. All right. Now, let's start with dirty data 1. The very first thing you want to do when you are cleaning your data is to create a duplicate. It's very important to create a duplicate for your data. Reason is, if you go ahead and work with your original data, you may end up having, if you make a mistake and you want to go back to it, you may not have a source to go back to, right? So it's always important to make a copy of your data. So you can either make a copy of the entire Excel workbook, or you can make a copy of the Excel worksheet. All right. So I'm going to right click on this, and I'm going to click on move or copy. I'm going to just leave it here, because this is just indicating where I want the duplicate to be in, and I want it to be before dirty data 1. And I'm going to check this box that says create a copy, and I click OK. Now when you see here, I have dirty data 1 and then in bracket 2. This is telling me that this is a duplicate. So now we can play around with this data. We can do what we want to do with it, and and not have to be afraid that we're going to lose the source to our original data. So this video might be a bit long, but I may decide to break it into two parts. Okay. So, but thank you so much for staying with me till this point, and please like and subscribe. Okay, if you enjoy my videos. All right. So now we're gonna get into it. So this is a range. This is not in a table as it is. This is just a range of data, and by looking at it, you can see there are some inconsistencies there, which we're going to try to clean up. Okay. Now, what thing you want to do, when you have a data like this thrown at you, is you may want to go column by column to look at it, column by column. And also, if at a glance you see that there are numerous spaces, you may decide to remove those spaces if the corresponding cells to it are not also useful to you. All right. So let's okay first of all, let's look at how we can remove these spaces. Now we're removing this spaces because we have determined that this entire row, yes, is not going to be useful to us. Okay, so and also this one, but like I said, this might not always be the best option. You may want to check and see if the other rows are not useful to you before you go ahead and remove them. Okay, also here as well. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to remove these rows with empty values. Now how do we do that? So you can click on anywhere within the range, click on Control A. Control A is going to select the entire range. All right, now when you do that, you go to home, click on the home. Under the home button, I'm going to go to find and select, and I'm going to go to special. Under go to special, I want it to find the blanks, so it's going to go to the blanks and highlight the blank spaces in that range. Okay, and then I'm clicking OK, and now you can see it has found and highlighted all the blank spaces in the range. Okay, now once this is done, still under home, I now want to delete under the cells group. Now I want to delete, the delete sheet rows. So it's going to delete the highlighted rows. Now so it's going to delete the rows that have already been highlighted here. So once I click on this, you see it's deleted all of this. Now this is what we have. Okay, that's all right, so we've gotten rid of that. Now next thing I like to do when I have something like this in a range is to put the filter buttons on it. I like to put the filter buttons there. So the filter buttons can allow me to identify unique values in each of the columns. Okay, so I am going to go under data. Mind you, you have to be clicked anywhere within the range, and just click on this filter button there, and I have this. Alright, so now I can click on the filter button and I can look through this, alright, and see if the individual values there are what is supposed to be. Okay, over here as well, I'll look through, see if the individual values are what it's supposed to be. Same thing goes all and all. So now I just want to go through column by column. All right, here for this contact column, what I have here is I have the name underscore surname. Okay, so I want to remove this underscore. I want to remove this underscore. Okay, so how do I remove this underscore so that I just have the name and surname? One thing I can do is to use my find and replace function. Alright, so to do that, I can just highlight this entire column, and then next thing will be to do the Control H. Control H is going to bring out this pop-up, which is the find and replace pop-up. Alright, so this pops up, and here you can I have the find here, and then I have find and the replace. So over here it's asking me what do I want to find. What I wanted to find is the underscore. I wanted to find anywhere there's an underscore in this column and replace it with what? What do I want to replace it with? I want to replace it with a space. Okay, now I want to replace that with a space, and when I'm done with this, I'm going to click on replace all, and over here it says all done. We made 20 replacements. Wonderful. Click OK, and I can close this now. Now you can see there's no more underscore over here. All that has been gone. Alright, so now on the next column, which is the brand column, what do I want to do here? I'm going to just use my filter button to look into it and see if there's anything I want to replace there. So over here I have Armani, Asics, New Balance, Nike, Nike Inc, and Nike UK, Puma. So I would want to group all the Nikes into one. So I just want to have Nike. I don't want to have Nike Inc and Nike UK. So there are various ways I could do this. I Okay, so yes, like I said, you can do this in a couple of ways. We want to replace Nike. We want to group everything with Nike into one. So I can use my find and replace to do this. I can decide to also uncheck everything here and check only for Nike. Check all the Nikes and click OK since they're just three, and then I can just delete this and delete this. Okay, so that is what good. But if it was a lot, if I have a very large table, the find and replace method will probably be better, you know. So the find and replace method would probably be better if I had a lot of inconsistencies like that. So let's just do the find and replace again. So I'm going to do Control H to bring this up and find what I wanted to find. Nike, anywhere there's Nike, INC with a full stop in that as well. And what do I want it to replace? I wanted to just replace it with Nike. Remember I have to delete the space that I put in there before. Okay, so I'm going to just replace, say I want to replace this with Nike. Alright, so replace all done. We made one replacement. Wonderful. And so what if I want to also replace Nike UK? So I can also just click on this and just Control C and then come here, delete this and do Control V to paste. Control C is to copy, Control V is to paste. Now I'm going to do this Nike UK. I wanted to replace it with Nike, so I'm going to click on replace all. So all done, we made one replacement. Okay, beautiful. And when I go back to click on this, now you see I just have one Nike. Okay, now on this next column, the product column. Now what product is this? Under this product column you can see we have some inconsistencies. Magista shoes some inconsistencies here, such as some alphabets being in capital letters where they're not supposed to be, you know. So we can fix that. All right, so we're going to fix this by using a function, and we're going to use the function called proper. So if you may have heard of the function before, the proper function is used to put every word, the beginning of every word in capital letter, and also to give them just one space, to give one spacing after each word. So but first of all I'm going to put a insert. I'm going to insert a I need to insert a column beside this. So let's see. I need to be able to insert a column here. Alright, so yeah, so when you look at where my arrow is, I'm going to right click and I'm going to click insert. So now it's inserted a column for me here. So I'm going to start with, I can start from here. I can do equal to and proper. Now I would have to click this text here, this cell here rather, and I'm going to close my brackets and click on enter. Now under here I'm going to I want to flash fill so that everything does the same for all the other cells. So I can double click here. All right, so double clicking is going to apply the same function to the rest of the other cells. Okay, that is good. So now we have two identical, or we have two columns rather. We have the dirty one and the cleaned one. Now, while we're still here, I have to, if I should go ahead and delete this column, you see that okay, it gives us an error. Why does it give us this error? It's giving us a reference error, meaning that there is nothing that these cells can reference. Okay, there's nothing that these cells can reference. Now, how do we fix this? That's why it's giving us an error. I'm going to press Ctrl Z to undo. So what's the next thing? I will go ahead and copy this. I'm going to highlighting that and then doing sorry, highlight this, Control C. Now this Control C is to copy this, and what I need to repaste this now. So I want to repaste this. I'm going to come back to this first cell, right click, and I want to paste as values, so that now as I'm pasting as values, it's going to paste just the text for me and ignore the formula behind. All right, so once I do this, paste as values, that's the one with the 1 2 3, this one, paste values. All right, now I'm going to delete this. I can delete this cell now and have rest of mind that I'm not going to get an error. Yes, awesome. So now over here on this particular cell, what do we have here? We have some we have too much spacing in here. The spacing is too much. Okay, the spacing is too much before the first word and even after the first word, so we can fix this. So as usual, I'm going to right click on the letter G to insert a new column. Insert. So I'm going to use a new function this time, and the function I'm going to be using will be what? Can someone take a guess? Okay, so now the function we're going to use is called the trim function. So the trim function is going to remove all excess spacing between this. So we can also do we can also use two functions in one. Okay, so let's just say, okay, first of all, let's do the trim. I can say trim and then select this. Okay, sorry, that was a mistake. Trim, select the trim, and then select this cell and then close it. This is how the trim function works normally. Okay, and then I can do this for right click at the lower right box to flash fill everything down so that it applies to every other cell. I can also put two functions in here and do a nested function. So I can, after using the trim function, so after selecting trim, I can also use the proper function as well in here, and I'm going to select this as a text, and I'm going to close my bracket, and then close the second bracket. Now this also works, and I can, let's assume now that I have, okay, let me do this in here. Let's say I have Spain coming up in capital letter, and let me just do that, on of Spain in capital letter. Alright, so I can flash fill. Alright, you see, so the proper function also did its work and just put only the S in Spain in capital letter and made the other ones to be in small letter. All right, so yeah, now moving over, the same thing. I'm going to for me to delete this, I have to select this. All right, I'm gonna do, in order to, I can select the entire, column. So if I click on the first column, I can just do control. That I can do this in two ways. All right, I love to use shortcuts. So a shortcut to select everything to the bottom if you have a lot of data is to click on the first cell you want to select, then hold your control key, hold the shift key, and then press the down key, all of them together, and it does this. So I'm going to do Control C, and then I'm going to come here on this cell, right click, and paste as values. All right, so that I can delete this. Cell comfortably. All right, so you can see it's all looking nice and clean right now. And over here, now on this, under this fulfillment column in percentage, well, for this column, what we want to do is we want to put everything here in percent. So we want to have 0%, 30%, and so on and so forth. So for this particular column, if I want to, let's say I wanted to put this in percent, and let's assume I click here under home, and then I click the percentage sign. You can see what it does. It's giving me 3000%. Okay, so the best bet for you before you do this, right, before you type in your figures, is to highlight the cells you want to put in this percentage, and then go to home and click on percent. Okay, so that anything you type in here, if it's 30, you see the percentage sign comes up. All right, 40, percentage sign comes up. Okay, so but this wasn't done before this was clicked. Okay, so if I come here and I have already typed, let's say I'm in the next cell now and I type 30, and then I click on this, go back to home, and then I click on percentage again, this is what it's going to give me. Okay, so now in order to fix this, I can't go back and delete and start retyping. Okay, so the only thing I can do is now is to okay, now I'm trying to get this back to, it was just 30 before. Okay, so if you need to go back, let me just do Control Z. Okay, now this is what it was before. So now what I can do is to, what I would do is to divide everything in here by 100, and then go back and click on the percentage sign again. So I'm going to highlight all of this. Well, first of all, I'm just going to type 100 over here. Okay, now 100 is over here. Click on the cell. Now go to okay, so now I'm going to click on this 100, and then I'm going to copy it by pressing Ctrl C, and then I'm going to highlight. So normally, when you copy something, obviously you want to paste it somewhere. Okay, so we're assuming that we want to paste it in this group of cells. So now, but instead of pasting it, what we actually want to do is to divide everything in this group of cells that I've selected by 100. So I'm going to right click and then paste. I'm going to come to paste special, to come to click on paste special here, and then I'm going to click on divide. Okay, I'm going to click on divide, and then I'm going to click OK. You see what happens here? So it has divided everything here now by 100. All right, so if I go back to my home and I click on percent, you can see this is what happens. Nice. Okay, so here, for this particular column, what do you notice here? We can see that um, the numbers are formatted to the left, but in Excel the numbers are always formatted to the right, so that this is a problem. And if you notice, the problem is coming from the fact that we have a comma at the wrong place. Okay, you see, so it's now being formatted as a text. This is being formatted as a text in Excel's mind. Okay, Excel thinks that this is a text. It's supposed to be appearing as a number over here. So how do we do this? We need to get rid of the comma here. How do I do that? We're going to highlight this whole column. I'm going to use the find and replace function or method. So I'm going to click Ctrl H to bring this up. So I'm going to delete everything in here and say I'm going to find comma. And what do I want to replace it with? I want to replace it with nothing. Alright, so you can click on replace all done. We made 20 replacements, and just like magic, all the cells have now been formatted to the right. Nice. So yeah, you can see now this now looks very beautiful and clean, all right, compared to the first one. Okay, the first one looked very messy. Now here I just want to put some little color, to give it a little, make it look make it look nice. You can choose whatever color you want. Okay, make this bold. So yeah, this is what we have here. Okay, now you can go over and do whatever analysis you want to do. Okay, now I'm going to go over to dirty data 2. Dirty data 2. Now what did we say is the first thing to do when we start cleaning data? The first thing you want to do is create a what? Someone say it with me. We want to create a duplicate. Now I'm going to right click here, click on move or copy. I just want it to be beside dirty data 2, so I'm going to select this, click on create a copy, and click OK. Now okay, this is nice. So this, well, this is a lot. Okay, you see there's a lot going on here. Now what do we do? Let's start, first of all we can start looking at this from a column by column basis. Okay, so and this particular column looks useless to me. First of all, let me put in my formula buttons. Click on data, click my filter buttons, not formula buttons. Alright, so click on this, giving me a filter button. So now I think we can remove this because we already have another column, that's numbering it. So I'm going to just right click and delete. Okay, now this is nice. This is nice. So looking at this, looking at closely, one thing with cleaning data is you have to focus, you have to look closely to ensure that what you're doing the right thing, and you're able to spot as many inconsistencies as possible. Okay, here you can see I have James Monroe over here, in capital letter, you know and so if I had a lot of other things like that, I would have to also remove them. Okay, so here to do this, I'm also going to insert a fresh column beside it. Click here. You can tell me what the from what function we are using. All right, you got it. We are using the proper function. Great. Now highlight on this and close your bracket, press enter. Now I'm going to right click here to flash fill. You see the point where the cursor changes. All right, so right click. Now when you click there, when you come to that bottom, you click on it. You click on it, okay? Or you double tap, rather. You double tap on it. You double tap on it for it to, perform the same thing to the other cell. You can see James Monroe has been corrected, and now we have this. Also, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to do control space control shift down to highlight everything to the bottom for me, and then I'm going to copy this. Control C to copy this, and then I'm going to paste, right click and paste as what? Paste as values. Awesome. Now pasting as values, I can now safely delete this. Right click and delete, and this stays put. Alright, good. Now for this particular column, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on here, but from what I can see, there are lots of inconsistencies there. First of all, we have Commander-in-Chief. This is the first Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army, 1977. I don't know what this here is, but we have to take it off. All right, to 1973, going down, going down. Um, oh, so if you can also see that we have this here also. I think this April 4th is supposed to be in this cell. Okay, so we'll have to bring this April 4th and all that into this cell. So I can just manually go in and Control C this and come in here, space, Control P this here. Alright, so now what we want to do first, what I want to do is to remove this symbol because it's repeated everywhere now. So in order to do that, I'm going to use the find and replace. Okay, so select the entire column, Control H, find what. Okay, so this is going to be hard to type, so let's just copy this here since it's the same thing everywhere. Copy this, Control C, put it here on find what, Control V. What do we want to replace this with? We can replace this with an underscore. No, with a hyphen. Where's my hyphen? Sorry, with a hyphen. Replace all. You can see we made 38 replacements. Okay, so I'm going to click. Okay, so we have all that done. We've replaced all that. Going to close this, and then I'm also going to use the proper function here as well. Okay, so going to insert a new cell here, equal to, I'm going to use the proper, and I'm going to use the trim function together. I'm going to close my brackets twice, press enter, flash fill all of this down, and after this is done, I'm going to Control C this to copy, right click here, and I'm going to paste as values. so that I can easily delete this. What happened? Okay. Oh, okay, okay. See what we have. Oh, see what he did here first. He gave he gave the each of the first made it have an S there. Okay, which is we don't want that. Well, I think I'll just use the trim function only. Okay, I'll just use the trim function only. Control C, paste as values so that I can delete this. Making this, I'm going to put the P in prior to be capital letter. Okay. What this doesn't, I think we're done with that. Then here we have what do we have here? So we okay, if you can see we have democratic, republican, democratic. We're federalist, non-partisan, republican, and republicans. So you see, we have democratic here. This is a problem. All right. So this is a problem. So first of all, let's see how we can fix this. All right, to just being democratic, and then we also have to fix this republicans to be republican. All right, so going to I can do this by unchecking this. I just want to see if it's something that we could probably do manually by ourselves. All right, so it's just a little, it's just a few of them, so we can do this manually. Okay, so I'm going to just demo democratic, and then remove the S here. That is okay. Okay, and then this one that has a wig, I'm going to delete this. So I'm deleting this. Okay, good. You can see now all this has been fixed up. Very good. Now the next, this one here, I'm sure you already know what we're going to use here. All right. Okay, so I'm going to put in a new cell here. I'm going to type equal to okay, so what we're going to do here, we're going to use the trim function here. The trim function is what we're going to use here. So equal to trim, trim, and close this bracket, and I'm going to go ahead and double tap this to the end, so we have all of this. Okay, so okay, yes, so I'm going to copy what is here and right click and paste as values so I can delete this. Good. Everything is coming out nicely. So for the salary column, I think this is largely okay. Alright, we may just reduce the decimal point, but it's still okay. Okay, alright, so we have that then. Okay, I think this column is okay. Well, yes, we need to fix this. This needs to be fixed. So you can see the formatting is not consistent. So let's see what we can do. I'm going to try to put this in a short date format and see if that would work. Okay, yes, I think that worked. We'll do the same for this column as well. Okay, so I think we're done with this particular column. We're done with this. All right, so we will move on to the next one. All right, so this is um the next Excel sheet. All right, so this particular one we have the year, the album, the artist, the genre, the subgenre, and the total sales for each of them. But then you can see we have some spaces here and here and here and here, and we need to try to remove that. So what are we going to do? We have to try to remove that, and we're going to try to see how we can find um how we can remove this automatically. You can easily just go click on this, hold the shift key, click on this, hold the control key actually, and this, and remove them. But what if you have a lot of them? What if you have a lot of them like that? What would you do? Okay, so I will do. All right, so I'm going to try to highlight all of this from here downwards. I'm going to try to see I can highlight this. I don't want to do control A. If I do control A, it's not going to select everything, okay? And if I do this twice, it's going to select the entire. If I do control A twice, it's going to select the entire worksheet. So I'm going to see how I can just select just from this point to this point. So I can start from here. I'm going to hold my control and shift and left direction button to highlight this, and then go down. So it's going to select everything down to the end. All right, so this is what we have. All right, then I'm going to go to home, click on find and select, click on go to special and select blanks and select OK. So it has selected, you see now it selected all the blank spaces. Now I'm going to go to home. Under home, I'm going to click on delete under the delete cells groups. So I'm going to click on delete sheet rows. Very good. So this is what we have right now. Okay, so I'm just gonna put my filter buttons on here. Click anywhere inside, click on data, click on the filter buttons. The filter buttons can help you just look through to see if there are any inconsistencies. Okay, so there may not be much to do in here. May not be much to do in here. So depending on what you're working on, that will determine how your cleaning exercise is going to be. Stop generate total sales. So yeah, maybe what I can just do is I can put the total sales in. I can just make that to be um it's control shift down, and then click on home, come to general, or let me see, um I might want this to be in the dollar form, total sales, and I want to probably reduce the number of decimal points. All right, so I think this can work this way. This is fine. This can work. Just gonna put some editing here, make that bold. you know Mind you, this is not in a table format as it is. If you want it to be in a table format, you click anywhere in here and press Ctrl T. This pops up, and then you click check the my table has headers if it does, and then you click OK. All right. Oh, and there was something I forgot to do. You always have to make a duplicate copy of your data first. Always. That's the first thing to do. Okay, so when you're doing yours, make sure you make a duplicate copy for yours whenever you're working on it. It's too late for me to do, a duplicate because I've already worked on it. Create a copy, click on the data. Yeah, so, well, let's move on to the next one. Dirty data 4. So now with dirty data 4, this is a bit more complex. Okay, you can see um we can see what we have here. It's a bit more complex. So what we're going to do here is we're going to try to separate each of these. We're going to try to separate each of these by a delimiter. A delimiter is something that separates each word from the other. All right, so we're going to see how we can separate this, and by looking at this we can see that each of them are being um we have the first name, comma, last name, and then we have a semicolon, and then we have this number here which is probably the date, and then we have another semicolon separating this probably is a salary. We have another semicolon which is separating maybe the position, okay, or title and position, okay, or department. Maybe this is department, admin department, and semicolon the position. All right, so one way we can do this is to um use the text to column function in Excel. All right, so let's look at this, how we can work with this, the text to column function. So for the to use the text to column function, we're going to select the particular column we want to work with. Mind you, um, you have to have enough space by the side depending on the number of columns you are working with. If I want to separate into 3 4 5 columns, I have to have 3 4 5 columns of spaces beside. Okay, I have to have enough space beside for this to work. So here we have a lot of space here, so this is definitely going to work. I think I had this before. I'm just going to delete this. Okay, so let's see how this works. First of all, you select the column you want to perform the text to column to, and come to under the data tab, and here this is where you have text to columns. Under here you have delimited. So what this wizard now, this here is asking you, it's saying the text wizard has determined that your data is delimited. If this is correct, choose next or choose the data type that best describes your data. So our data is delimited. That means it has characters such as commas or tabs separate each field. Characters such as commas or tabs separate each field. Alright, so we're going to use this. Okay, then we're going to click on next. Now we have to select what is that thing that actually separates our data, right? So once you select the thing that separates the data, you can have a preview of what it looks like here. Now you see it separated it into first name, last name, the date, salary, department, position. All right, so next would be, this can be left as it is. So if what you find, if the thing that separates your data is not here, you can just type it in here, okay, and it will detect it. Then next thing, click next. Now what we're going to do here is you can decide to select the data type for each of the columns from here, okay, but sometimes it may not even be necessary, but let's just see. So I'm putting this as day, month, year. I'm putting this as a date function. This is okay, general. All right, so this is fine. Destination A1, so you can choose. We want it to start dividing from this particular cell here, but you can decide to select and put it in a different cell. Okay, now you can click on finish. Awesome. Can you see that beautiful magic? All right, so now let's see what we can do here. I'm just gonna separate this. You can also redo it on this column as well if you want to separate them into first name and last name. Let's try it. So I'm gonna add I'm going to insert a column here, in an empty column here, and then click on this, go to data again, click on text to columns. My data is delimited. Next, a comma separates this, and you can see this separated it already. Next, click on finish. Voila, this looks good. Okay, so alright, so we can add another column here, another row on top, so we can rename this. So I'm going to name this first name. Oh, okay, so this should be okay. Don't know why it's giving me that. I'm just gonna retype this. right, then I'm gonna call this dates started. I'm just assuming, okay? And then I'm going to have there as salary. I'm going to have here as department. I'm going to have here as position. Okay, so this looks pretty okay. Let's see what we can do with this. Can we turn this into a short date? Okay. Well, we do have a little problem. So the problem I have here is that my system reads my dates as day, month, year. Right? That's why you see the date is automatically formatted in the right. That's why you can see the date is automatically formatted to the right, and this one is formatted to the left because it's reading it as a text. All right. So how do we fix this? We can fix this. I So there are different ways to do this. Normally, so I have to have the day to come before the month. All right. So I could interchange this, bring this in here and do that for now. I will just have to do that manually. Okay. For that, I'll have to do that manually. But on your system, if yours is showing as month, day, year, you should be fine. So this is 03, this is 30. You see that automatically goes to the right. 04. Okay, so I'm going to take this. And for now, I don't know if there's a function that allows me to just, interchange things like this automatically. If you know that, please comment in the chat box. We learn every day. All right. So, sometimes in data cleaning, there are certain things you may have to do manually. So yes, 2312. So this would be 12, 23. That's to be 2507. This has to be 1512. 1512. Let me just I'm gonna just delete everything in this cell. 15 12 2011. I'm going to 15 15 12 2011. Yeah, so sometimes you may need to clear the formatting in it to for it to work. 20, this is 04 23, 25, 7. This is 12, 14, so this has to be 14, 12. So this is also giving me some issues, so I'm going to have to clear the format in there. Now go to come here, clear format. Let me see if this is gonna work again. Let's just clear everything in there. Let me just do that for this first. Where was that? That was 14, 12, 2011. So that would be 14, 12, 2011. Great. And this is 2906, 2906. Okay, I still would have to clear the formats in here. Oh, the 2906 2001, 29 2906 2001. Okay, we've done that. I'm gonna place the salary in a number format. Let's just use accounting. I want this to be in dollars. So okay, I think this is fine. This is fine. I think this is not necessary. Oh my goodness. Like I said initially, please always create a duplicate for your data. I didn't create a duplicate as well, but please always create a duplicate for your data. So I highlighted this and I pressed the delete key to remove them. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and reduce this. All right. Okay, so this is done. This looks good. Okay. Home. Just gonna place this. Alright, so dirty data 5. I'm going to create a duplicate this time. I'm not going to forget. Alright, move or copy dirty data 5, create a copy. Okay. Alright, so this is the last sheet that we're going to be cleaning. Okay, so what do we do here? What we're gonna do here is, okay, so let's see what we have here. We have the segment, country, product, discount, units sold, manufacturing price, sale price, gross sales, sales, cost of goods sold, profit, date, month, year. Okay, month, number, month, year. All right, so as you see here as well, we also have inconsistencies here. You can see what we have here. We have inconsistencies in the characters. We also have some, you know, necessary formats here. This is being formatted as a text, while these ones are being formatted as a number. Okay, so we're gonna see how we can work with this. All right, so let's see what we can do here. I can start by getting rid of this spaces over here. So let's see, Control A, but it's selecting the entire um, sheet. So I'm just gonna come here and do Control Shift and the left arrow key, and then I'm going to still holding Control Shift. I'm going to press the down arrow key to highlight everything. So um all right, so I've selected everything now. What we're going to do is to go to find and select, go to special, click on blanks. I wanted to find the blanks. It's very good, it's found the blanks. Now still under home, come to delete, click delete sheet rows. Good. All right, so we have this, and something else I want to do is to clear the formatting. I wanted to remove any formats, all the formats from this. So I'm going to do Control A, and then I'm going to click on home, and over here under the clear function, click on this drop down, click on clear format. You can see we have this already. Going to use my I'm going to insert the filter buttons. Alright, so using the filter buttons, I can see everything that's here: channel partners, enterprise, government, mid-market, small business. Alright, so I can do this for each of them, and this column seems fine. This column needs some help. Alright, you can see there's an incorrect, the spacing is, is a lot here. It has some incorrect spacing as well, incorrect formatting, I mean to say. Now I am going to right click and click insert. So I'm going to use my function. I'm going to use the proper and trim function here. So equals to proper, still gonna add trim in there, and I'm going to select this, and then I'm going to close my bracket, press enter. Over here, when the cursor changes to this at the bottom right, you can double click to do the same for each of the cells, and then I'm going to just do press Ctrl C, and over here I'm going to right click and I'm going to paste as values. So this will allow me to safely delete this column, and voila. Also I have this column, so let's see what's in there. This looks largely okay. This looks fine. High, low, medium, none. Units, this okay. The only thing I could just, okay, this is fine, I guess. Units, so this is fine. Manufacturing, now you see what we have here. This group, these ones are being formatted as a text, while these are being formatted as numbers. So there's one way we can fix this. Okay, I'm going to multiply everything in this column by a number to forcefully convert it into a number. So I'm going to put 1 over here, and then I'm going to control select this, Control C to select the 1, and then I'm going to highlight this entire column, Control Shift down, and I'm going to go to my paste special, and now I want it to multiply everything that I've highlighted by 1. Voila, everything is fixed. Alright, selling price as well, this looks okay. Gross, this looks gross sales, okay. So I'm going to highlight this for gross sales, cost of goods sold, and profit. I'm just going to put all four of them in um, just the currency format and do this, okay, just to make it look a bit more professional. All right, and this column I'm going to do Ctrl Shift and the down arrow key from here, and I'm going to come to home, and I'm going to select short date to fix that up. Okay, wonderful, that's good. All right, then this one here we have month number. This is fine. I have the month itself and the year. Okay, this looks good. This looks good as well. Okay, so you can see how this looks pretty good as compared to what we had initially. This looks better, more easy to analyze. Okay, if you can compare this to this, we can see there's a whole lot of difference. So that brings me to the end of this video. I would have appreciate if you would like, share, and subscribe. I post videos every week, and I post videos on data analysis every week, and this will help to really encourage me if you subscribe. Remember, subscription is free. All right, so thank you so much. Thank you so much, and see you in the next one.